Good evening and welcome to our first segment of 2024 with Epic Women Uniting Our Talk. So I have the pleasure of being here with two lovely entrepreneurs. And so I get a chance to introduce one or the other or whatever the case may be. I know we're just kind of like watching out for each other. So the first that we have from Maryland is Bethany Bordeaux. So Bethany, please share a little bit about yourself.
Well, sure. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bethany Bordeaux, as Michelle said. I'm from the Maryland area, not far from Washington, D.C. And I'm excited to be here tonight for our first session of 2024, Women Epic Uniting, and looking forward to our topic this evening.
And believe me, we got a great one this evening, okay? Thank you, Bethany. And then we also have the lovely Leslie Norman Harris out of Delaware. So Leslie, please share a little bit about yourself as well.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. This is an amazing year before us. I am coming to you from Delaware. I am an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for several years, and I look forward to this first episode of Epic Women.
And first of many, right? We've got this.
Exactly.
And I am, okay, go ahead, Leslie.
And I'd like to introduce Michelle Proctor, our host. Michelle resides in Florida and is an entrepreneur as well, and doing extremely well in her businesses. So Michelle, you never want to talk about yourself, but I had to do the honors.
I appreciate you. And this is what I love about women in business, because we're watching out for each other. And like Leslie said, I'm also an entrepreneur. 5 years, almost 5 years now, and I can't imagine life without being in the entrepreneurial world. It's amazing. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. It is, to take that step, it is definitely a phenomenal experience. I don't look back anyway, unless I'm looking to see what else I need to prepare for the future. But, that's why we're here this evening, to really encourage others to put that plan in place for 2024. So our topic tonight is striving for more in 2024. So happy New Year to everyone. We are here to help you get your plans for 2024 going forward. So this topic just literally just made sense. Everyone is at the point right now. We don't really get into New Year's resolutions because that's iffy for a lot of people, but we most definitely get into creating a plan that makes sense. And so with that, what we want to talk about this evening is literally putting together strategic goals to stay focused on what you want to be doing next. Now, we've never made a secret. We are all part of network marketing and we love it, okay? And that's the beauty behind it, because we jumped on an opportunity that just made sense. Everybody travels, so why not take your passion to turn it into purpose, to turn it into a profit, especially with multiple streams of income. So what we're here to talk with you about this evening is literally setting and defining your goals. But a lot of times what people don't really realize is that there's a method to the madness. Right, Leslie? There's a method to the madness.
Yes, it is. Especially if you want to create goals that are attainable.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. I think that most often, and myself included, before I really started to focus on what made sense to really get from step A to step B to step C and be a success as an entrepreneur. And so we came across some great advice that we want to share with you all this evening. And I know, Bethany, this has been something that's been near and dear to your heart.
Definitely. Yes. The information that we're going to talk about is really 5 or 6 easy steps just put into practice and to put into place. And I think the key phrase for this is to organize to maximize your success. So kind of get your steps in place, maximize or organize what you're going to be doing, and that way you can maximize what your goals are to be successful. So this is information that I think everybody can kind of pick a piece or two and apply to their own lives at this point.
Exactly, and that's what we loved about it. And the very first step, it was interesting to me when I saw it. I'm like, oh, I've been on the right path. Because the very first step is do a brain dump. And I think that a lot of people think that that is just too chaotic, but especially if you're just getting started, you're really starting to focus on what you want for 2024, especially in the entrepreneurial world or any part of life. It's about getting it all out of your head and onto paper and just dumping it all there. Now, it was interesting because when I did that a couple times, I kind of felt like this is a mess. But as I started to sort through it, it started to make more sense because I had it in front of me and not just swimming around in my head. So what are your thoughts about that, Leslie, with the brain dump?
I totally agree. The brain dump is an amazing exercise. When I first uh, did the exercise, I too, Michelle, thought this was ridiculous, chaotic. But once I did it a second time and a third time, it really brought more focus into what I was dumping on the sheet with regard to what I wanted to achieve. Because when I saw everything, it was like, wow, that's a lot. But I was also able to start organizing. And the one thing that really kept ringing throughout my mind was wow yourself before you how yourself.
I love that. I love that. Say that again.
Wow yourself before you how yourself.
Okay, there you go. I like that one. I might put that up on writing in front of me. I love it when I wow myself. Okay. What are your thoughts about it, Bethany?
I think, you know, not only for the goals for yourself, but if you have a family, if you got children, it's important to keep them in mind too. You know, your spouse, your kids, your children, rather make it a family oriented activity where you all can all put your ideas and your goals together. And that way you can kind of narrow it down to a few for the whole family, whether it's, you know, saving for a home or going on vacation or whatever it might be. It's important to have your whole family involved too, because if you have your own goals as yourself, you can't really, what are you gonna do with the rest of the family? Like you need to include everybody. So you know, even just make it a fun family type of thing. Just go around the room and jot down everything, everybody's ideas, and that way you can kind of make it a family fun event and get everybody's input in it.
And you're
I
so
think it's
right.
important.
You're so right, because I think that that's one thing with being a single mom and different times that my sons and I would talk about just different things we wanted to be able to do throughout the year. We never sat down and really thought it through with regard to all, everyone's input or everyone's part within
Mhm.
those particular goals. So now as an entrepreneur, now it's a matter, and going along the lines of what Bethany was just sharing, was once you have it all, once you've done that brain dump, and you have everything out there from the financial scenarios, anything that's specific to family, specific to faith, specific to things you may be doing in the community, everything that you put on paper is going to have a category, which is the topic, which is the second rule of success with creating a strong goal. Once you've done that brain dump and it's all there, now you can categorize it. Because as you're categorizing, now you can not only see, the financial folks, I'm just going to circle back to entrepreneurship. What is it you're looking to accomplish within your business or within your businesses? Then which also ties into the financial plan that you have.
Mhm.
Now, if you have a family, then basically how does the family come into play with that? If you're looking at, again, with it being faith-based, with it being fitness, with it being things that's going to be fun and vacations, you're categorizing all of that. Now you're taking that information and going to what's involved for that to become a viable goal for you to be successful with it. So Leslie, take that with it as far as categorizing everything once you've done the brain dump.
Yes, so when you're categorizing, again, finances and business, that's one central category. That both of those work hand in hand because your finances are going to impact your business and your business is going to impact your family. When you're talking about, I mean, finances, when you're talking about family, these include vacations, things you're going to do as a family unit, making sure that everyone's involved. Faith, that doesn't mean just faith-based activities, growth, mindset, goals in which you are going to personally grow and grow as a family. They all fall under that faith category. Fitness, we're all trying to get fit.
Right.
So when you are identifying goals for fitness, make sure that they are simple, attainable goals. For example, I'm going to go for a walk. every other day for 10 minutes. That's an attainable goal. Fun, fun things. Again, vacations, fun activities, going out to dinner as a family. These are all categories that are viable in helping you create attainable goals. So when you are going through your brain dump and you're categorizing these goals, make sure that they are attainable and they fall within those categories. It will synergize you and it will help you go to the third step, which is
Okay. Well, I want to go back real quick because I wanted to get Bethany's input on the categorizing as well. As an entrepreneur, categorizing as an entrepreneur, Bethany, take it and run with it.
As an entrepreneur, one thing it's hard to kind of keep focused if you have everything all over the place. And one of the ideas about goal setting is to be organized. Like I said earlier, is to be organized. With the entrepreneurship mindset, you have to be organized in order to be successful. And just to kind of touch a little bit on what Leslie said is the fact that you have these different categories, and you can have lots of goals for all of. You can have 100, 200 goals, which is really overwhelming for a lot of people. But if you break it down to maybe 3 to 5 for each goal or for each area rather, then you're able to tackle it a bit better. And then not only just that, but just also prioritize them to whichever category it is. So if you have family, put your vacation goals, put your house saving goals there. If you got fitness, you're going to put your whatever fitness goals. So make sure they're actually in appropriate categories. That way you can see it a lot better, and it's not going to be quite so overwhelming for you. As an entrepreneur, you definitely want to focus on your financial goals because one of your top reasons for being organized in your goals is to make sure your finances are correct and make sure that you are going where you want to go financially. So I think those are probably, and faith too. Faith goes along with that as well. I think as an entrepreneur because you want to make sure that you believe in what you're doing, obviously. But I think even part of faith, one of the subcategories can be community and donations and giving back and things like that. So you want to make sure that all that is kind of in place and make sure that you have it all laid out and easily achievable once that's in place.
And you've hit it right on the head because I think that was one of the main things when I decided to enter the world of entrepreneurship. I knew I had that gut feeling for so long that I wanted so much more. And it was just mainly about the right opportunity coming at the right time, which is what it did. When this opportunity to join the travel industry and to be able to market to others, for me it was a win-win because one, I knew people wanted to be able to work from home or basically anywhere, and that that work-life balance, or what I love to put it as, is that life work balance, because we're not meant to work and have life as a secondary. That's not what's intended for us, but we've gotten caught up into that programming, so we allow that to happen to us. So when this opportunity came about with being able to join the travel industry, but in addition to that, to be able to share it with so many others, it really made me stop and focus about what are my real goals in life. Because for too long, I was going with the status quo. I was going along with whatever that generational programming was, with what direction you were supposed to go in to be successful. But yet entrepreneurship literally gives us everything that we really want with that financial freedom when we have that a sincere plan or goal, that personal freedom and that time freedom. It just all kind of like incorporates it all into that one beautiful basket. So with that said, now moving on to what the third item is, to be successful with creating goals and really achieving them. And Leslie, you alluded to this a little bit earlier with prioritizing. Now that you have done the brain dump, and you've categorized everything that came from that brain dump, now you're prioritizing it, which means that you got to really focus on what it means, what each category really means to you, and what the priority has for you in life and how it's prioritized, because in some instances some uplift the others for you to be able to lead into each, to be successful with each one. So, Bethany, I'm gonna bounce it back to you because I like going around the screen and counterclockwise and everything else. So, Bethany, prioritizing, let's share some feedback on that.
Well, I think you pretty much said everything that I was thinking about, but also when you think about organizing, prioritizing, it's not so much you have to balance everything out equally. It's the fact that you're still moving somehow or another. So, one category could be the focus on today, another one could be a focus on next week, another could be a focus next month. So it really depends on where you are at any point in time or in your life. But the fact that you're moving in any one of those directions and moving towards your goals is what the important part is for that, I believe.
No, and you're so right, because I think that's the whole point. And we always talk about how to be so specific.
Mhm.
Similar to what Leslie was mentioning earlier. If you decide that part of your goals for the year is going to be that focus on fitness. So it's okay, 10 minutes, you're going to be biking, riding, biking or walking or whatever for 10 minutes. But take it to another level, 10 minutes a day, or is it going to be 10 minutes several times a week? Be specific on what it is that you want to be able to do. On the entrepreneurship, be specific as far as what is it that you're going to be doing from day to day to push your business forward. Because ultimately, we can get caught up in what is like, a lot of what we say that busy work, that's not really income producing. But we're veering off over here. But if you have those goals and that plan and you categorize and now you're prioritizing it, you literally are now more focused on what you're doing to be successful as an entrepreneur. If your focus is, different things that you're going to be doing with your family, for that now to, care for your family, what's going to be involved in that and the priority that comes along with it. So Leslie, when we're talking about prioritizing, what is it that you want to add to that that's really bringing it home as far as the need for that prioritization?
I wanted to go back to what Bethany said about moving and balance. When you are balanced, you're moving forward. So for example, if you're riding a bike and you're balanced, you're moving forward. Anytime you are balanced, you are moving forward. So by prioritizing your category goals, you are creating balance so that you can move forward, thereby allowing you to be more organized. And as an entrepreneur, as both of you previously stated, you have to have organization and you also have to have balance. So by establishing that, creating that, you're setting yourself up to succeed with the goals you have clearly identified.
And that's, I mean, and believe me, when we saw these 6 tips, it hit home. It really hit home. And it's funny because I think a lot of us have studied that focus on creating attainable goals, but this just kind of like put it down in layman's terms of, these are the steps that you need to take for you to be successful with it. So now we're gonna move on to the next one, which was a new one for me. So Leslie, I'm gonna throw it at you first. Why times 7? Share what you
That was also new to me, Michelle, because when I saw this, it's like, why times 7? What are they talking about? But it made sense.
Mhm.
So you take a goal and you ask yourself 7 times, like, okay, you want this? Why do you want this? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to do it? It's 7 questions that you're going to clearly ask for each goal that you have prioritized. And if you cannot answer 7 questions for those goals that you have prioritized, then it's not a priority and it's not an important goal. It's not a goal that's going to force you to attain the goals that you are seeking to achieve. So it took me back. I thought I had identified my goals for 2024. And when I saw that, I went, okay, let me go back. Let me ask 7 questions to make sure. And realistically speaking, some of the goals that I had identified for 2024, I took off because I could not answer 7 questions for those goals. So it was like, okay, that's not important.
And you just explained that beautifully, because literally that's what it helps you do, is to eliminate or to push it down, push it further down on that prioritization. So where you may think that's exactly what I want, or this is where I'm thinking that this needs to happen to get to this level, to go in this direction. And when you do that why times 7, you start to really self-evaluate that, well, wait a minute, maybe it's not as high a priority as I really thought it was initially. So, Greg, I love the way you explained that one. Bethany, anything you want to share with that?
Yeah, and by doing this, it's going to actually save you time. Because if you don't ask
Yes,
yourself
it
the
will.
7 questions, you're gonna waste time on a goal that's not really a goal. It's actually a wish when you come down to think about it. So if you're able to, 7 questions and get to 7 answers, great. Now that's the goal you can actually work towards. But if you find on question 5 you can't get the answer, then push it aside and don't waste your time. Pick up another goal that you can kind of answer 7 questions to.
Right, because that's where you really now starting to take that brain dump and clean it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
now you're really starting to say, well, I can scratch this off, I can scratch that off, I can scratch this off. But if you haven't gotten it out of your head onto paper to get to that level 4 with that Y times 7, then that's when it still stays muddy in the water, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Right.
Okay, so we always hear about those SMART goals. So that Y times 7 kind of like really made more sense when that
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
goals were put to it. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so we know this is the time of year where everyone's doing these vision boards or vision books. So I know that we have some plans coming up for us to be able to do it as a team as well. But ultimately, have you done version boards or version books in the past? And if so, what success have you had with it?
I
So
did a
I
vision
have done,
board. I'm sorry, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Leslie.
Leslie. I
I've
have
done
done
a
a
vision
vision
board.
board.
Okay, so I'm gonna step
Okay,
in.
Leslie.
Go ahead, Leslie.
I have completed several vision boards, but the one thing that has prevented me from seeing the vision board regularly is the location of the vision board. So I put in all this work and time in creating the vision board and thinking it through. And then I didn't put it in a location where I could see it constantly. So it's important to not only create the vision board, but to put it in a location that you see it at least twice a day, in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to bed. So that's something that I'm really working on, identifying a location for my vision board. I think it's going to be my front door as I'm going out the door in the morning.
Mhm.
But I think I'm going to make a copy of it so that before I go to bed at night, it's on my night table.
There you
Mhm,
go. Awesome. I love that. Perfect.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
Bethany.
And I agree with Leslie too. Sometimes I have had vision boards as well. And I think my problem is the same thing, is not having it in the place where I'm going to see it on a regular basis. The example that I've heard before, on the back of your front door as you go out, so you see it when you leave. On the back of your bathroom door, we're all in the bathroom all the time. So on the back of your bathroom door is a perfect place because you're going to see it right then and there. Next to your TV is good because as you're watching TV, you're going to realize, oh, I should be doing this right now to make sure my goals are met on my vision board. And so you turn the TV off and go work on your goals. Um, Next to your bed is good too. And I like the idea of having on your screensaver, either on your computer screensaver or on your phone. That way, when you unlock it, it's just right in your own phone all the time. So unlock your phone is right there for you as a reminder for you.
And that's excellent. And I will tell you, I have definitely become a major champion of visuals. That
Mm-hmm.
was something I did not buy into before. I think it was a couple years ago when it started registering. I kept hearing it over and over and over from, people who were extremely successful as entrepreneurs. And I kept thinking, okay, is this really necessary? And it was more so, like with anything, that had to catch you at the right time for you to say, maybe I need to try this. And I started off with some more of the basic visuals. And what I had to do, similar to what you all were just sharing, I had to put them in different places around my apartment, because of the fact that at certain times, we all get to that point where we need a break. And so I would go take a break. But because I didn't have those visuals, and I would find ways, okay, well, let me go and do this and let me go and do that. And then I'm veering away from what I wanted to accomplish for the day. But when I made those visuals that really spoke to me, then I put them in areas where, like going to take a break, what am I typically doing? Heading into the kitchen to do XYZ. Well, I have it posted up on the refrigerator. And like now that's a reminder of, am I accomplishing what I was planning to accomplish? Am I about to procrastinate? I need to circle back. So that made me now get into that whole focus with the vision boards. And I completely agree. You've got to have them placed where it's going to catch your attention. So both of you gave an excellent list. of different areas where you can have them. And what the beauty of today in technology, yes, you can take a picture of it now, you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your laptop, you can have it on your iPad, you can have it come up on your smart TV as you're walking out the door. I won't be surprised if now they have the new car wraps where you can do a vision board with the car wraps. Okay. Anybody who's about to steal that idea, okay? But I'm just saying that it really does work, because when it catches your attention to steer you back to what you need to be focused on, it makes sense. So now we're hearing more about the vision books, and I don't want to hear none of y'all commenting on the fact that vision books have been out since forever. Okay, if I'm behind the times, I'm behind, but I'm on it now. All right. Okay.
Michelle, one more point about the vision board too is that not only, oftentimes we put pictures or words or whatever on it, but I think it's important to remember that it has to also be emotional for us. So, some people have weight loss goals, or you have a specific house, a mansion, or whatever your car, whatever you're thinking about, that you want on your vision board. But if you're able to go and actually take a test drive in that car, or go and actually look at that house and feel how that feels as you're in the car or in that house, it's going to have a whole lot more meaning to you than just putting a picture up there on some random home or some random car that you don't even really have an attachment to. So maybe go test out the car, take a picture of you in the car, take a picture of you in the home, whatever it is. That way you actually can feel the emotion behind that. It's going to feel a lot more real to you on your vision board when you do it like that.
And you're right, it's that attachment to it. Because I mean, and I'm sure, pretty much what we're all saying is that once it's a vision for you and you're seeing that vision continuously, like you just said, now to make it more real for yourself, put yourself into that. But at the same point, you're manifesting it as it's all occurring.
Right.
Because now you're not only, it's just a blank picture or a general picture up there, now you're going and actually physically doing everything. You're walking into that house that you really, in the area that you really want to be in. You're going and checking out those cars. You're going to the bank. You're envisioning that bank account with numerous zeros at the end of the large numbers and so on. But ultimately, it's just a matter of understanding that you do deserve it. There's no one out here that, like I said, luck never happens for anybody. They work towards it. But when you listen to them talk, it was always those visions that came along with it, the vision board, the vision book. And then what I loved with this last one, which was a new one, which I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I'm loving it. Number 6 is creating an audio board, so that you now have something that you, and your voice, like you were just saying, Bethany, with going and taking pictures. Now you have audios that you can listen to as well in your voice, continuing to manifest what you really want, to be successful with your goals. So Leslie, how do you feel about the whole audio board?
I love the audio board. Actually recording yourself reading your goals. I think that is very powerful because it's you talking to you. It's very simple. I've never done that, but I'm definitely going to do it for 2024.
And and I love it because when he gave the advice, or when we got the advice to put energy to it, y'all know I can put some energy to some stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Not to mention,
yes, you
laughing,
can.
and I'm the only one in the room.
Yes.
Okay. Bethany, what are your thoughts about it?
And you not only are saying your goals to you, but actually speaking as if they've already happened. So you're speaking to yourself in the next year or 2 years or 5 years, however long your goals are going to take to reach them. You're going to actually speak to yourself as if they have already happened. That way you are already in your mind working towards what you're trying to get to. It makes perfect sense. And I don't know why I had not heard that advice before, but that is like a game changer for me. That's completely
And can you imagine going back 2 years from now and
right.
listening to yourself talk about your
Exactly.
goals and then look at
Exactly.
where you are? That's amazing. Like that would be, like you said, a game changer for me in many ways.
This is that's that validation that you told yourself it was going to happen.
Yes.
I look back now and I wish I had done that when I decided I was moving to Florida, because that
There
would
you
be
go.
awesome now to sit back and now hear that and to see that that actually made that move happen. Same thing when I decided to become an entrepreneur. My attitude was I'm all in. I'm not going to allow anything to sway me. Was it now 4.5 years plus into it? And here I am, an entrepreneur. It's going exactly the way I wanted to go. I mean, if anything, I want to excel it quite a bit.
Right.
But ultimately, I'm proud of the fact that, like I said from the very beginning, I was going to be all in. That this was the vehicle in the travel industry and within marketing that was going to get me to where I wanted to be and put the same effort into what I was doing for other companies. And now I can do it for myself. So tell me, now that you're an entrepreneur, what would you tell yourself, or what is going to be one of the first audios? I know I'm just throwing this one at you. One of the first audios you're going to tell yourself as an entrepreneur that you can listen to a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that's going to really resonate with you.
Well, I think one point before I get to that point is that we can hear it, we can speak it and hear it in whatever the time frame is. But the most important thing is to play it ourselves every day now. So you listen to it in the morning when you first wake up, and again before you go to bed. That way, it's in your mind all day, all night. You're manifesting it really. So one of my goals would be that I'm going to say to myself is the ranking up. So, going from the different levels in our organization to becoming a director of 1 star, 2 star, or whatever is going to be the time frame. That's going to be one of my goals I actually manifest to myself in my audio, in my audio board.
Awesome. And I'm glad you put it out there that, listening to it every morning and every night, because that's just something that's just more specific of not only
Yes.
doing it, but now how often are you listening to it? Because
Hmm.
when you get up, that's should be your motivator to get you up and moving. When you're listening
Hmm.
to it at night, now you're going to see, thinking about, okay, this is where my focus is. This is what's going to be happening, because time flies by. And you'll be surprised how quickly you can forget about it if you're not hearing about it. So the visuals are perfect, but the audios, I felt like, just kind of like sealed the deal.
Yeah, definitely.
So Leslie,
Yep.
any last comments?
I mean, success is not built on luck. It's built on hard work and determination and keep pushing keep pushing moving forward. I think the audio component of this will definitely push all of us forward, thus creating balance because we're moving forward and moving us closer and closer to the goals that we have created for ourselves. So, ladies, we know what we have to do. We just have to be consistent in doing it.
And so this
Consistent,
is what we're
definitely.
talking about, striving for more in 2024. So if you did not write all of this down, I'm gonna do a quick recap. For you to be striving for more in 2024, you're gonna be setting those goals. And it all starts with number one, that brain dump. Number two, categorizing everything. Number three, prioritizing. Number four, ask yourself 7 questions as to why. Okay. 5 is creating that visual, those vision boards or vision books. And now the new one is number 6, the audio board. You're creating those audios in your voice for you to hear continuously. You can do morning, noon, and night. I mean, if you want to hear your voice that much every hour, whatever needs to be done to keep you on that right path. So as we, one thing we definitely want to be able to point out, and we've been hearing it quite often, you've been seeing it more and more throughout any type of articles. I believe even Forbes had put something out not too long ago that the entrepreneurship, women are really rising up. There's a lot more women in entrepreneurship than there was years back. Why? Because we're used to running our households anyway. And so ultimately we have all of those skills, and now we're becoming even more confident with the fact that, especially those of us who are raising families, that we want more for our families. We want to be able to have more availability. We want that family time with them, that quality time. And that's really, from my perspective, is what is encouraging us to really take entrepreneurship, or give it a much more serious look, for us to be able to really address things, or be able to really handle things within our households or within our families to those levels of where we want to be. Leslie, you yourself, you have 3 beautiful daughters. And the youngest one, you're working through quite a bit this particular year with everything she has going on. So entrepreneurship definitely feeds into that, because now you're available to, which I know with the type of mom that you are, you're going to be available no matter what. You're looking at that as being a vehicle for you to be able to share in everything that's evolving for her, as well as being readily available in a voice of what is transpiring for her, because you decided to go into the entrepreneurial world.
Yes, that is very true, Michelle. Entrepreneurship does allow you the time freedom that you need. And I would not change it or trade it for anything in the world. It brings my heart joy to know that if I step away, I am still making money. So
Exactly.
so my family does not suffer when I step away to focus on another area, particularly for one of my children or even my husband. So we're good.
Exactly. And residual income. I mean, you're hearing it from everybody, residual income, passive income, leverage income, whatever the route you want to be able to go in it. That's what we love about the opportunity that we have, that we share with others. You know, there's 8 streams of income that comes along with that. And to be a travel insider is just, I mean, I don't think we can ever describe it properly because it has exceeded expectations. It's been an amazing experience. So Bethany, I'm going to toss it over to you for some more closing comments, and I know we got to get out of here for this evening.
Well, thanks, Michelle and Leslie. I'm glad we're able to co-host tonight as well. I think one thing that's important to remember is that in this business that we're all in, most of us, probably the majority of the organization, is doing this part-time. And like Leslie said, being able to be able to step away from her, to do things with her family is important too. But realizing that you don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur to make some really serious money in this business. And being able to do it part-time, I think, is really key, and it's important to remember that as well.
Right. And that's what we love about it, because most people who join us join it on a part-time basis. Whether it's something that they decide that they just want the extra streams of income, or that it is something that's going to eventually allow them to step away from their 9 to 5, if that's their goal. You know, we have every age group, 18 and above. We've got every generation. And I think that's the beauty behind it. People who are now heading out for retirement, this is their retirement plan, to have this up and going, so that, they're already focusing on most of what they're going to be doing is traveling. So why not make an extreme income from that as well as the ones who are in their 20s and 30s decided they're not working for the same company for 20, 30, and 40 years. And same thing with me. I just knew that there was no way I was going to last until retirement. That's not what I want. I did not want to be in corporate America as my career was really starting to get past the 20-year mark. There was more out here for me. There was a lot more that I want to be able to do. And I never thought twice. I mean, I've never looked back. It has always been that opportunity. And now I feel like with even more defined goals, that I see it right there. It's all about to happen. I'm loving the way it's evolving. So thank you, ladies, for this evening. I love the fact that we have our talk back online, and that we'll be able to get together. We're going to be moving the dates and times around. So for January, it will be Mondays at 8 p.m. But like I said, each month we're going to be moving the dates and times around, just to be able to be more readily available for different schedules of our followers. So if you've not had a chance to do so, please make sure you hit the subscribe on the Epic Women United YouTube channel, and join us next Monday night for another fascinating topic. Good night, everyone, and Happy New Year again.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.